Shalom. This is Brother Ira. Shalom. This is Brother Ira coming at you another lesson. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rekakadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Peace to the hopeful. Shalom to the hopeful elect. And it's another lesson. It's called Fools. A fool said we should never go into prophecy. So now I'm about to start. I like to go into Revelation 19, verse 10. Book of Rev. The book of Revelations. Book of Revelations, chapter 19, verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am the fellow servant. So that was a mighty angel of the Lord. And John Revelation said he fell at his feet. And he said, Do it not. Because I'm a fellow servant. And that means to be brothers. Brothers with the angels of the Lord, right? And thou, brethren, that have the testimony of Yahushua, worship Yahushua. So we supposed to worship Yahushua, right? For the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So now, I had an ex-friend saying that we ain't supposed to prophesy. But here, Revelation 19 verse 10 said the spirit of the Lord is prophecy. That don't make no sense. How are we supposed to warn the people? Wait a minute. This is a book of prophecy, but we ain't supposed to prophesy. That don't make sense. That's just like having a cookbook saying we ain't supposed, and they teach you how to make recipes, but we ain't supposed to get recipes out of this book to cook the baked cookies. That don't make no damn sense, man. See, I noticed with our people, well, he ain't our people, he Edomite. He could be, but I don't know. But his pops is seems to be an Edomite. I say that because I don't want to judge by appearance. But that's what goes wrong with our people, man. Our people so smart in the world, and they so quick to call a person slow, dumb. But then, they got all type of knowledge. They got all type of knowledge of stats of football, basketball. They could break down the stats and how many yards and how many times he scored in the season. And they could break down, drug dealing, streets, and how to cook up coke and crack and all this other stuff. When it comes down to the scriptures, man, they get dumbfounded, they get stupid, they get simple. You know what I mean? Like, it amuses me with my people. I'm going to read it again. The book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am the fellow servant and of thy brethren. He said, the Lord, the angel of the Lord said, we brothers. You got to worship me. That I have the testimony. So we have the testimony of prophecy. The testimony of Yahushua is prophecy, right? The truth. Yahushua worship Yahweh. For the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. See, the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So where is this brother saying that we ain't supposed to read out of the book? We ain't supposed to prophesy. That just goes to show you he don't know the scriptures. But he said that, I went to school, a church Christian school. I know all about the Bible. Obviously, you don't, simple nigga. Because it just said right here, Revelation 19 and 10, that the Spirit of the Lord is prophecy. And that's I don't know. That kind of pissed me off. And he said that the mark of the beast is not the chip; it just said a mark. Like, this dude is a super airhead, man. This nigga was an air fucking head, man. I'm sorry. I hope he see this video once I publish it on YouTube. I'll give you another one. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Ezekiel 3 and 17. Yeah, simple, man. The book of Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. So a watchman, which was called back in the ancient world, was called seers, right? We the watchers. So we supposed to watch over the flock, right? That's our job. So Yahweh said, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the words out my mouth and give them warning from me. So the Lord said, yo, hear the words out my mouth and give them warning from me, right? So the Lord holds the key to the future of what's going to befall us, what's going to happen, right? So the Lord gave us instruction. He told us what's going to happen in the latter days. So if we ain't supposed to prophesy, how we supposed to warn the people? That don't make sense. Just like you got a weatherman. The weatherman, he gives you the forecast of how the weather's going to be throughout the week. He's going to tell you it's going to rain, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be cool. You know what I'm saying? It's going to snow. It's going to be foggy. It's going to be a snowstorm, a rainstorm, a flood. He gives you warning, so you better prepare yourself. So now, if we ain't supposed to prophesy, how is we going to get the elect and the people to warn them of what's coming, or the dangers that's coming, the pending dangers? See, that just goes to show you how dumbfounded people is. And like I said, people got so much understanding and knowledge in the world, but when it comes down to the Holy Scriptures, people are dumb. People, they get stupid all of a sudden, man. We said that we ain't supposed to prophesy, but there's a book of prophecy. That don't make no effing sense, man. And this shit frustrated me when he said it. I'll read it again. We'll finish it. Verse 17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the words out of my mouth. So the Lord said, hear the words out of my mouth, right? Ezekiel, and give them warning from me. He said, and give them warning from me, right? Because for the warning, you must know something before it's going to happen, right? When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest warning, the wicked from his wicked ways to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I acquire at thy hand. So the job of a watchman, which you would be the prophets, which I would probably be, and the other brothers elect that's out there watching for the the flock. He said, give them warning, because we can't. If I don't warn you about the pending danger, the Lord said He required blood from you. It's just like when you were a little kid, when you was an older brother, you got siblings, younger siblings younger than you, and your father tell you to watch them, make sure they don't get in trouble, make sure they don't get hurt. If I'm out there playing around with my friends and doing whatever, and they get hurt on my watch, I'm gonna get in trouble. Because if my little brother get hit by a car, the first thing my father gonna say, why was you watching him like I told you to? Now I was on the plane. I'm gonna get beat because I ain't watching my little brother. I was too worried about playing with my friends instead of watching my brother. So the Lord said, I'm gonna require blood from you because you didn't watch your brother, you didn't watch your brothers and sisters from the pending danger, from them getting hit by the whips. Now I'm requiring blood from you. That means you hate your brother and sister if I don't sit there and warn them about the pending danger. So for me to warn them, I gotta understand something that's coming. It's danger. So when you send your kids out and outside to play, you gotta warn them on alert. Like, don't call shit unless you look back and forth. Stay in the perimeters where I can see you. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta do my job as a watchman to make sure I keep my eyes on my brothers and my little brothers and sisters, make sure they don't go too far to hurt themselves. That means I can't be too caught up be focused on what I'm doing. I gotta keep eye on my little brothers and sisters. So this is what the Lord's saying right here. Because guess what? The prophets, we are the first fruits of the spirit. So we are the older, but even though a lot of people might be older than us, but we are older than them in the spirit because we're the first fruits. So we gotta watch over them because our people don't know no better. Right? Verse 17 again. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the words out of my mouth. Give them warning from me. Verse 18, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou shalt give him not warning. So the Lord said that he said he's going to give it to the wicked. This is talking about the wicked of Israel. He said, y'all should surely die. Y'all continue in your father. Right? You should surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speaketh warn wicked from his wicked ways to save his life. So the Lord said, we don't speak and tell and warn our people, the wicked to warn them of the wicked way to save their life. Right? The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, so that person that didn't get warned, he's going to die in this iniquity, but his blood will I require of thy hand. So the blood of the person that's supposed to warn, he's going to fight that person's blood because you didn't do the job that the Lord commanded you to do. So therefore, for you to go out there and warn them the wicked way, warn our people of the wicked ways, so you must know something that's coming, that the Lord about to bring heavy judgment on the world, so we got to warn our people. So that right there is going into prophecy. So nigga said that we ain't supposed to prophesy. I had to cut that dude off. I said, yo, get away from me. You know? I said, yo, nah, bro, you're done. I said, keep your distance. And I meant that. So, understand, man. Prophets, we supposed to prophesy to warn people. If he knew the Bible like he claimed he did, he would have known that every generation the Lord always sent prophets out. He always sent prophets out in the time of Egypt was Moses, and he sent prophets out was Daniel, Babylon. He sent Hezekiah the prophet. He sent Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, which was Azariah, Mishael. He sent Job. He sent Noah, Habakkuk, Isaiah, Obadiah. He sent all these prophets throughout the course of time to warn the people. So my understanding is like, where is he getting this from? When it's supposed to prophesy? In Acts chapter 2, verse 17. Look at Acts chapter 2, verse 17. And it shall come to pass in the last days, said Yahweh, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and you old men shall dream dreams. See, the Lord said, I'm going to pour out my spirits. Now, that's not saying that the sisters won't go out on the street corners and highways and byways and prophesy. That means they may get a vision, they may tell the man of the Lord what they saw, and we may be interpreted to them and go out there and edify the flock, what they saw. You know what I'm saying? But he said he'll give out visions, he'll pour out his spirits to all flesh, to prophesy. Even the wicked see prophecy of their destruction coming. You feel me? See, that right there is a cut to my being supposed to prophesy. So this said it right here in Acts 2 and 17. That all flesh, your sons and daughters should see the vision, they all should prophesy. See, he must be, when he said he read the Bible, you understand, he must be didn't read this verse because he would have understood that. See, the Lord had blinded him and made him dumb, man. He's a reprobate. Ezekiel 37 and 4. Let's get that. I'm gonna start at 2. Start at 1. Start at 1. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 1. The hand of the Lord was upon me and carried me out of the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. So this valley, which was full of bones, so the Lord was upon him of Ezekiel, and he carried in the midst. So he took his body to the future, which is this place. This is the valley full of bones, which you call America, aka Babylon the Great, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in their open valleys, and lo, they were very dry. So he was talking about the state of the nation of Israel. It was very dry. He was out here, hands hanging, sitting down, being gangsters and thugs, being niggas, and the women being thoughts, killing each other, robbing each other, being basketball players, rappers. That's all we knew. You know what I'm saying? Being moles, women being dykes. You know what I'm saying? We just out here walking around lost, picking and marching up in these Christian churches. Some of us Islam, some of us Bible studies, some of us Egyptology. We out here lost, walking around, groping noonday, right? And he caused me to pass them around about. And behold, there were very many in open valley, and lo, they were very dry. So they was very dry. They didn't have that water. They didn't have that water. You know what I'm saying? They didn't drink that Yahweh water for that water of life. It was very dry. We didn't understand. We didn't know where we come from. So we call ourselves African Americans, Asiatic black men, Africans. It was dead, walking zombies. It was a walking dead. That's what we are. Verse 3, and he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And answered, O Lord, Yahweh, thou knowest. He said, can these bones live? He said, I don't know. Can they? Right? Verse 4, again, he said unto me, prophesy upon thee. He said, prophesy, right? Again, he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones. And say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Verse 5, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. So now, here we go again, prophecy. See, prophecy controls everything in this world, right? For by us prophesying and telling the lost sheep who they are, went into slavery, Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 through 68, that's going about the transatlantic slave trade. We giving them the life back. We breathing life back into them. We giving them their ancestors, telling you, we the people of the book. So we have to prophesy to them to make them understand, give them understanding to wake up again, right? So that's prophecy. See, the power of prophecy is the Lord. See, He woke us up, right? And this of the Lord Yahweh, he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones. So he said, prophesy on these dead bones, these dry bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the words of the Lord. So we out here say, here's the word of the Lord, man. You are the Israelites. You went into captivity. This is what happened. This is your enemy. See, that's another thing that we did because we don't know who our enemies are. 2, that's why we walking dead. Thus said the Lord Yahweh, unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into them, and ye shall live. Verse 6, and I will lay sinew upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So that's that same breath that he gave to Adam. Adam put flesh upon you, not meaning he breathed in his nostrils. That means he taught him the law, statutes, and commandments. That's how you live. Because if you outside of the laws and scriptures of the Lord, you're a brute beast. That's why he called the other nation beast. Verse 7, so I prophesied as I was commanded. So that's why we brought in highways and byways, because we was commanded to prophesy. Hold on, let's get a precept to that. Get Luke 14 and 23. Hold this and go back to Luke 14 and 23. Book of Luke, chapter 14, verse 23. And the Lord said unto the servant, Go out into the highways and the hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. Verse 24, For I say unto you that none of these men, those men which were bidden, shall taste of my supper. Right? He said to go out to the highways and the hedges, right? Bid, compel them to come in, right? So we just read that, right? That's what we were commanded to do. So he said, verse 5, Thus said the Lord Yahweh unto these bones, Behold, I will cause the breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Verse 6, And I will lay a sinew upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you. So he put breath in us because we got taught. That's how we got put breath. And that same breath that we taught, we got breathing into it, the dry bones and the dead, our people that's dead, so they can live, right? And ye shall know that I am the Lord. Verse 7. So I prophesied as I was commanded. So we just read that in Luke 2:17, 14 and 23. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise. Behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, and the bone to his bone. So bone to his bone, that means his kinsman. And when I beheld, lo, a sinew and a flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. So the skin, everything came upon them, because you got some Israelites are Israelites in the flesh, but not in the spirit. That's why he said there was no breath in them. Everything came together, but there was no breath in them. Let's get that word, a sin. What's a sin? A sinew, a piece of tough, was a fibrous tissue, uniting muscle to bone of bone, to bone and tendon, a ligament. A sinew is her neck, a part of a structure or system of thing that gives strength and bind it together. Okay, so that's that muscle tendon. That's why he said a bone to my bone. So a sinew is I'm gonna give you a sinew upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you. It's a spiritual, and cover you with skin, but put breath in you, and you shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. It's that sinew that he put upon us. And when I beheld, lo, the sinew and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. And I said unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Come from the four winds of the breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So now, once the bones and the flesh start coming together, they have no breath in us, so we have to prophesy and tell our people who they are going by Deuteronomy 28. Let's get that. Let's get another prophecy. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Take it back to the first grade. The book of 28. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. Verse 14 will start. And thou shalt not go outside from any of the words which I commanded thee this day, to the right hand or to the left. We got to walk that straight narrow path, right? To go after other gods, to serve them. So we went to other gods. That's called whoredom, right? Verse 15. But it shall come to pass. So it shall come to pass. This is another prophecy that the Lord was giving us when we was in Egypt. We was coming out of Egypt. Thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. He said, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken. That means we won't listen to the voice of the Lord thy power to exert to do all these commandments and his statutes which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So that's another prophecy. That's what Ezekiel read. 37. To 4. That's how we became those dry bones when walking dead, because we fell out of we went against the Lord's commandments, his rules, man. So he put that curse upon us to be as the walking dead. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy Yahweh, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. So that's when he was cursed in the city. That's another prophecy, right? He was cursed in the field and cursed in the city. We cursed in the city right now, where I live at. I live smack in the middle of the hood of Rochester, New York. And this place is called Avenue C, Conkey and Avenue C. This is the high drug crime area. When you walk, you see tore down houses. Our people live in messed up conditions, man. That's part of the curses, man. We're killing each other on the blocks. We're selling drugs to each other. Sisters out here hoes, you know. We live in rat roaches, infested houses. The lead paint, the paint filled with lead, poison water, the bad foods. They used to call it A-Rap store selling this packs of cigarettes, blunts, cherry tips, 40 ounce. You know, that's my boy saying that Alabama, Fagos. You know, we got the bat and the stick in this so-called country, the city, Babylon the Great. It's throughout the whole, throughout the whole Americas. 52 states. It's like this everywhere in the United States. Our people live in bad conditions. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? And throughout process of time, those curses came over and overtook us. Through the process of time. Each generation comes, it gets worse. The curses cling on to us, man. It gets worse and worse. It's breaking us down. It's eating us up like cancer. Verse 16, cursed shall thou be in the city. I just went over it. Cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall we be in the field. Like our foreparents was cursed in the field picking cotton. They didn't get paid for it. It was in that all day through that 100-degree weather. Not getting no, even had our little children out there picking cotton and not getting no money. We did it for free and still not get respect for our labor. Even up to this day, we got to work 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet. Some of us got to make a side hustle. Some of us got to sell drugs partially to keep up. Hosea 6 and 5, you work wages, you put it in the bag of holes. That's a curse. And that's also prophecy that will befall us in the latter days. But somebody said we ain't supposed to go in the scripture and prophesy. This is how we was bringing life in Ezekiel 37:4 all the way down. That's how we was bringing life into the people to let them know who we saw it. Because when we go into this Deuteronomy 28:15, 58, 68 chapter, that's like, yo, that's talking about us. Now we get to understand what happened to us. Now we starting to wake up and realize, okay, we're going to return and go back and repent. Some of us will, but you got some of us, the 2/3 won't. We continue. Verse 16, curse shall not be in the city, curse shall not be in the field. Verse 7, curse shall be thy basket and thy store. A lot of us get businesses and it don't flourish. You get stores, it don't even go nowhere. They'll last. Some of them be selling drugs out of that's the storefront for selling drugs and guns. And they be having stuff, outdated food and products in there that been in there for 10, like 20, 30, 40 years. And you be like, damn, man, do y'all read up on your supplies and shit? Been in here, it got dust on it. Been in here for a minute. That's the, sometimes they end up closing down. The Arabs buy them out. You know what I mean? That's some cursing in that basket in their stores. You know, now we got some business may flourish a little bit. And for the most part, it doesn't. Huh? Verse 17, curse shall thou be in thy basket and thy stores. Verse 18, curse shall thou be in thy fruit, and thy body, and thy fruit of thy land increase thy kind, and flocks and sheep. Some of us won't have sheep. Some of us won't have farms. Cursing our body, the food in our lungs. That means the kids will be cursed. We're going to be sick in the body. A lot of us have illness. Go to some power scriptures. Verse 27. The Lord will smite thee with the botches of Egypt, with hemorrhoids, and with the scabs, and with the itch, wherefore thou cannot not be healed. That goes into the Native Americans. They got the smallpox on them, keloids, and hair they cut, and we heal them. They die from that. Even to this day, some of us get keloids on our body breaking out because the foods we eat, improper health diets we go into, right? Verse 28, and the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Some of us is bugged out of our mind. I work at the hospital. Sometimes I see a lot of our people going to like the G building. That's what the psych ward. People that you thought that I never knew they have mental health issues. But I seen them going in there. I say, yo, I knew this. I knew this dude for a long time. I never knew they even had that. A lot of our people is bugged out, man. That's another curse. That's prophecy. He said, astonishment of heart. They smite with madness. We be on the highways and byways, people come up like a sister that we had last week, Christian, she was bugged out of her mind. Devils have plagued her head. Lord have plagued her with demons. A lot of our people are plagued with demons. Even people that you think normal, they plagued with demons, man. You got sisters out here twerking on Instagram, OnlyFans, and they got demons. How do you think that shit is normal? Just like I was telling a person last week, a couple summers ago, I seen a sister in the summertime walking down the street on a crime-infested block with bikinis on. She had on panties on, literally, walking down, Avenue D. But all that hanging out, she ain't had nothing covering her. I was like, yo, this bitch is really walking down here with bikinis on, with like damn near panties. That's astonishing my heart and more plagued. She might as well should have took. Soon it's gonna be taking off all your clothes and walking around here. She could have might as well just did that. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. You got our people killing their grandparents, killing their kids. They smite, they got madness, man. They got plagued with demons. And these could be people that you know for years that you would never thought they gone. Verse Verse 30, thou shalt, verse 29, and thou shalt grope in noonday as blind gropeth at darkness. Thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. See, we'll grope at noonday and be groping at dark, walking around, not knowing what your purpose is in life, just hanging out, just whatever. I'm just out here, no purpose. And we're gonna be always oppressed. We're gonna have cops patrolling the street, pulling you over, going upside your head when they felt like doing it. These are the curses that befall our people, and that also goes into prophecy. See, when Moses gave that decree and telling us what's going to happen, our people back then didn't know, they didn't believe that. Just like today, we telling them destruction is coming. It's the same thing. Recurrent action all over again. We're telling them what's about to happen. They don't believe it, even though they showing you on the news and different outlets, new outlets on the social media. They're telling you got military rounding up. It's a blackout, famine coming. You know, disease, another pandemic coming. These devils about to get ready to kill and slaughter Jake, but Jake still don't get it. They still don't see it. Just like back then when Moses was telling them this was going to happen to them, they didn't get it. They didn't understand it. They didn't believe it. We said we're going to be oppressed evermore. So if they read this is the breath of life that we had to teach our people. And once someone the elect read this, they woken up. That's when they was able to get breath back into them and get flesh and the breath back into them again. They start to live. Right? Verse 30, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Yeah, that goes in time of slavery. Before, we married our wife, the white man was sleeping to her. But fast forward today, that's going today. You can get a wife today, and another man, she got a side nigga, a creep, a side piece with it, because she fucking another man behind your back. Another man lying with your wife. Like the scripture says, women should be hoes in the city. Right? That's a curse and also a prophecy. And this very prophecy is playing out right now. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant vineyards, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Thou ox shall be slain before thy enemies. That means they're going into when so-called white men came over here with the cavalry. They killed off the oxen to starve out Gad. You know what I'm saying? We build houses here. We didn't get to live in a white house. All these mansions that these crackers live in. We didn't get to live in none of these houses. Right? That's also Bible prophecy and also a curse to our people. Just let them know that's how Ezekiel 37:4 is telling us these bones that speak prophecy, these bones shall live. And thou shalt eat thereof, and thy eyes shall be violently taken away before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Let's go to that 20 acres in the moon. We promised that, and you get it. He said, you're not restored. Reparations, you're not getting it. And if you do get it, money about to be extinct, digital currency. So that's, if they do decide to get that, you're gonna have to take the chip to get that. Here's the home run hit right here. 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Thy eyes shall look and fell with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hands. So then our sons and daughters was given to another people. We have our kids taken away from us. Sons and daughters were given to Master Charles in Virginia, Master James in Florida. Biff in Alabama. Our kids are scattered and took in and given to a whole other plantation. And so on and so on. That's Bible prophecy and slavery. And to this day, it's still like Our sons and our daughters shall be given unto another people, and our eyes shall look and fell with longing for them all the days long, and there shall be no might in our hand, and there shall no might in the hands to give them back, even to this day. The city can come take your kids, you'll never get your kids back. There's nothing you can do. Right? The state can get your kids, it's a wrap. Verse 33, the fruit of thy land, and all the labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt not be only oppressed and crushed always. That's Native America. They came over here, took over, eating up everything, took all the resources, and we was always oppressed and crushed. Every time we try to rise up, they destroy us, they kill us, put us back in place. Always. Because the Lord said he gave this man the gift of the sword. Only the Hawashot's going to take this man down because he raised him up. That's Bible prophecy. The idiot said we ain't supposed to prophesy. Well, it's the book of prophecy. That don't make sense. Dumbass nigga. Yeah, I'm talking to you, 8. So that shall be made for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. Verse 35, thou shalt smite thee in the knees and the legs with the sores and botches that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. It goes into those small pots that Gad and Reuben had got from pots they put in the blankets. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Right, start at 44. He shall lend to thee, and now book of Deuteronomy 28, verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be head, or thou shalt be the tail. That's just like that today. They are the head. Every time you look at any throughout the world, you will see the white man the head of any establishment. We always the tail. We always the workers. You know, you might see some of our people in suits and ties. They got a little position in so-called Esau establishment, but he's still at the tail. He's at the bottom. He got to answer. His supervisor is a white man, so he got to answer to him. Right? You go to the banks, they lend to you. You don't lend to them. You get the loans and all that from the white man, and sometimes he might not want to give it to you, or he do. He put the entries, the interest high. That's called usury. Verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, until thou be destroyed, because they hearken not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. See now these curses are going to pursue you. These curses are going to be on you like white on rice. It's going to stick to you. These curses are like a symbiote, like Spider-Man and Venom suit. It's going to stick to you like the Guyver suit. And they wrap around you. You can never shake this, man. It's like your shadow is going to follow you. These curses like our shadows, man. It's like a symbiote suit. It's connected to us. All right. This the scripture, that's the spirit. Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder upon thy seed forever. So it's a sign and a wonder. No matter where you go throughout the United States, throughout the world, he said these got to be the people of the Lord, because they suffering all around the same way. You go to California, Georgia, New York, Texas, Arizona, Delaware, New Jersey, Philadelphia, anywhere in the United States, man, even across the seas. These got to be the people of the Lord, because why? They in the lower state, no matter where they at. So that's how they say, like I said, this curse is going to stick on us like a symbiote suit. You said it's going to be a sign on us forever, on our seeds forever. So when we have kids, they're going to suffer the same thing. They're going to come out cursed too. Yeah, you might have some of us, exceptions to a rule, you got some of us that's successful, but they still got the curses on them. They might be rappers, sports players, politicians, but they still got curses on them because they got to answer somebody. As soon as they speak up, they get smacked, they get butt. They will, what they call it, butt breaking. They'll get smacked. Esau smacked, take away their wealth. You see what they did to Kanye? Take away their wealth and shut his ass up, like they did Nick Cannon. No matter where you at, these curses are gonna follow. Look what happened to Bill Cosby. Couldn't shake the curses, no matter how rich you got. You think you was above his people, but you cannot escape the curses. Verse 47, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness in the heart for abundance of all things. So we didn't want to, serve our Lord and Savior, man. For abundance for all things, man. So he said, since you don't want to serve me and have everything and have the world at your fingertips under your feet, you're going to serve another nation that's going to decrude you. Hey, go just like you dealing with a woman. You treat her good, you put her in a good house, you do everything for her, but she cheating on you, she don't want to cook. So you kick her out the house, like go to the next nigga. And that next nigga, she get what she thought was going to treat her right, dogging her out. You know what I'm saying? She ain't living that luxury life no more. She got kids by this nigga. Nigga don't want now. The nigga don't take care of her. He cheating on her. Well, it's not really cheating, but you know what I'm saying. He neglecting her, beating her, treating her wrong. She having a miserable life. When she was with the other man, she had it good, but she just didn't want to follow the rules. She didn't have to work. She was getting everything. But she with this now, she gotta get a job to take care of him. See? That's Israel. We that woman, we that adulterous woman. So we with the next husband. He's a bad husband. It was so-called Esau. He abusing us, holding you out. You work so much and bring in little. You work hard. You trying to do everything to please this cracker, and he still don't like you. He still don't. Same thing with that adulterous woman. She want the next. She want the gangster. She want the hood niggas. The hood nigga go upside her head. Probably ran trains on her. Disrespect her. He don't give her no money. He don't help her out. She got to work and get and make ends meet. She got to pay all the bills and give it to him. See, that's the mind of these women. That's the mind of the Israelite us nations, man. We respect evil, and we disrespect good. Just like Paul said, I love much, but much hate. I love much, but I get less love. Roughly paraphrasing. Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. That right there is what you call prophecy, Bible prophecy. Did that not happen to us? Let's get a visual picture of that. Let's get a picture of that. I'm looking for a better picture. Better. There you go. See Israel? Bible prophecy. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. See? Yokes of iron. See that? Yokes of iron. Bible prophecy. Bible prophecy in your face. A Negro said we ain't supposed to prophesize. A dumb, slow belly nigger he is. Mm. And snap, look at Eagle, that's prophesied too. That's a prophecy too. Eagle, to let you know who did it. Verse 49 going to explain who's that eagle. Verse 49. Yeah, he said, upon our necks until he had destroyed it. Yes, we have been destroyed. That's how the yoke of iron created niggas and thoughts and moles. Because we so destroyed, they destroyed us so much, man, that we killed each other. We love the white man. We hate each other. Because if you tell the nigga that the kingdom of heaven's for you, he said, what about the white man? I had one dude said, I don't want to be in no kingdom like that. If the white man, races like that. I was like, that's how we destroy. Some people don't want to leave Babylon the Great. The next scripture gonna bring out this bird I just bring out. Verse 49: the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. And they came from far, from Europe, Spain, right? A nation against thee from far, from the ends of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth. Hold on, what it says, swift as an eagle flieth. See that bird? Right there. That eagle. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, because we didn't understand their tongue. They speak, someone speaking English, someone speaking Latin, French, so on and so on. We didn't understand. We're speaking our native tongue at the time, Hebrew. Right? Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. They didn't show favor to the old. They slaughtered them, they cut them down. Same thing with the young and the babies. They cut them down, shot them down, fed them to crocodiles, fed them to dogs. These people was fierce. That's going to show you that's the nation of Esau, Edom. I have this book. Let me find that book. Here we go, right here. Esau, Edom. That's who did it. That's the criminal. That's the criminal. Let's get back to 28. Bear with me. Salaki. We didn't understand their tongue, right? Verse 50, a nation with fair countenance shall not regard a person old, show favor to the young. So they ain't show favor to the old or young. They slaughter them just the same. Verse 51, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until he be destroyed, which also shall not leave either corn, wine, or oil, increase thy kind, or a flock, or thy sheep until he destroy thee. See, he took all the resources from the Native Americans, right? He had us build White House, build everything, and give us nothing. Right? That's Bible prophecy. Verse 53, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body, thy flesh of thy son, and of thy daughters, which the Lord our have given thee, in the siege of straightness, wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee. See, that's going into what, 70 AD. Because the cursing ain't just happening just one particular time, it happened throughout, throughout our history. We ate our own kids, man. For the siege of Jerusalem, because the Romans could pass their armies around. But this is going to happen again. In these times, in these last days, Jacob's trouble. They're starvers out. And a lot of these jakes, women gonna eat their own kids, man. And as it's going into abortion, because you got a lot of our sisters, this abortion, killing their own babies. They want to be career woman, or this is my body, I can do what I want. All right. Let's drop down verse 56. And the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her feet upon the ground. See, at one point in time, my sisters didn't set up feet, and they was loyal. They didn't have to walk on the ground, man. All right. So the Lord said that tender and delicate woman, she was tender and delicate back in the ancient time when King David, King Solomon, and he was ruling. All right. Woman among you, which would not venture to set her soul on her feet upon the ground. For her delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband and of her bosom, towards her son, towards her daughter. See, now the so-called black woman, Hispanic woman, they became enemies to the so-called black man. Let's get that in the prophecy, Micah 7 and 10. Right on the spot, too. Micah 7 and 10. The book of Micah, chapter 7, verse 10. Then she that is my enemy shall see it. Shame should cover her, which said unto me, where is thy Lord? So she say that, where is our Lord? Certain sisters be like, oh, you talking about that Israelite stuff? God ain't gonna never come, and all that Bible stuff, right? Verse 10 again. Then that is my enemy shall see it. But she gonna see the Lord in Jacob's trouble, man. She gonna see the wrath. All these so-called black women that's wicked towards their men, and they are enemies. Right? Shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord, thy Yahweh? My eyes shall behold her. So Lord, so we're gonna see her. The minute we're gonna see her, we're gonna behold her, right? Her now shall be, so the Lord, wait. Then shall she that is my enemy shall see it. Shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is thy Lord and thy Yahweh? My eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mud of the streets. But she gonna be trodden down. She gonna be cut down in the streets. That's right, the black and Hispanic woman is enemies, man. The Lord says she's gonna cut those, not all of them, but the majority of them, 2/3 of them. So right here, go back to Deuteronomy 28, verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which will not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband, her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter. So that meaning of, a lot of these women have kids just for money, just to get a check out of the black man. I don't heard it many times, man. Before I couldn't believe it. I heard a black woman say, I'm pregnant by this nigga. I'm about to put him on child support so I can get this money. And I'm thinking like, what? Then I'm gonna break up with him so I can get child support. I actually heard females say that out of their damn mouth. They purposely will break up with a brother just to get child support. So a lot of these kids are born in vain. They're just born. You could tell how they care for them when they get older. They let them sell drugs, smoke weed, do whatever they want. Because if it was a baby that's playing, you'll take care of that child because it's playing. You playing that man because you love that man that you're with. You playing that kid. Because if you're playing something, you're gonna take care of. You're gonna raise it up right. But if you just having it carelessly just for personal gain, you're not gonna take care of it. You're gonna let it. When you grow up, you're gonna let it do what it want to do because you never loved that kid. You didn't love the nigga that you was with. You had that baby in vain. So now that baby growing up hard, mad, upset, thugged out, smoking weed, going out doing what he want, and you just let him because you never cared 2 fucks about him. You didn't give 2 fucks about the father that you laid with. So you made that shit out in vain, not in love. You made that for personal gain, for money. because you didn't want to work. So the tender and delicate woman among you, which that will not venture to set the sole of her feet upon the ground for her delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil towards her husband, her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter. That's why she child abuses them, kick them out. She don't, you know what I'm saying? The father leave the house. She hate the father because that feminist shit fucked up the homes. Because she allowed the serpent once again to intermingle with our family and broke up the house. A lot of times I used to think that the black man messed up. It's the woman, man, that don't broke up the black family. I had to say it's the black woman, man. Most brothers became really harsh on women, disrespect women because they said, I see my mom treating my dad wrong. That's why I don't trust bitches. I have brothers said that to me growing up. Literally. All right? Verse 57. Towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, towards her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things. See, that goes back to right now. That abortion shit. She shall eat them for want of all things. Now, we did it in the siege of Jerusalem. They had to eat their kids to survive. But they're doing it now in these days. They've been doing it for years. I don't want kids because I want to have a career. I want to do the things I want to do. Kids gonna slow me down. So she'll have that abortion. Right? Or some of them even have the kid and give them away. Because she want to live her life. She want to go out to the clubs, parties, chase down these no good niggas. Chase that bag. Because she feel like the kid will hold, baby will slow her down. She can't do what she want to do. For towards her young one that cometh out between her feet, towards her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things. Secretly the siege and straightness wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. And that's going to happen again when these UN troops come in and block up all these cities. There's no food. You know what I'm saying? Esau cut off the food supply from Jake, from these hoods. And you want to be able to go up to a corner store or to a restaurant and get a couple of 20-piece and some wings and some burgers and all that and more. You're going to start eventually, you're going to eat your kids. That's Bible prophecy. But somebody say you ain't supposed to prophesy. Okay. Verse 58. If thou wilt not observe to do all these words of this law which are written in this book, that thou mayest fear the Lord, this glorious, fearful name, the Lord thy power, which is Yahweh and Yahushua, then the Lord will make a plague wonderful, and plague of thy seed even great, plague of long continuous and sore sickness and a long continuance. See, that's why we got sickness among us, sickle cell, plague of the mind, man. A lot of our people are mentally healthy. You know what I'm saying? Sugar diabetes, cancers. All the stuff that plague black people today for eating unhealthy foods, smoking, abusing drugs. Verse 60, moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, COVID, all the stuff that we was playing with Egypt, he bringing it back on us now for our disobedience. That's Bible prophecy, is it not? Verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there shall serve other gods, which neither thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, right? Some of us was serving wood and stones back in the ancient time. Even up to this now, that wood and stone can go into Islam, into Christianity. Some was Buddhist. Someone would serve Egyptology. Verse 65, among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee their trembling heart and felling of eyes and sore sorrow of mind. We ain't got no ease in these months, right? Even around our own people, we ain't got no ease. You feel fear, you may walk out the house and get killed. You may have the fear of losing your job, but you can't make this bill. You can't make ends. You don't know, car notes. You don't know you're gonna have food tomorrow. You may drive down the street, might get bopped in the head, get killed by your own peoples. Feel me? Those are the curses, and those are Bible prophecy. So among these nations, you won't find no ease. You got a word. Look for the weekend. The weekend ends, days go by quickly. Back to work, you may have vacation. You never get no rest. We weary, we tired out. These crackers may flip on you. You may lose your job. Like I said, this is the valley of death. You may eat something that gets you sick and die. Anything can kill you. You may drive to go to work, or drive to go to the grocery store, and may get into a car accident. All right. Verse 66, and thy life shall hang in the doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, shall have none assurance of thy life. That's right now. That's Bible prophecy. I'm not promised tomorrow. I can sit in my house, somebody can kick in and burn me inside, and break in, home invasion, and put me to death. Like I just said, I could walk out this house and get shot by a straight bullet. Verse 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there shall be so unto your enemies, bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. That's Bible prophecy. You got up the slave ships, bondmen and bondwomen, slave women, slave men, and got sold to other nations, and split apart, and broke apart, and split apart our family. Those are curses and Bible prophecies. An idiot said we ain't supposed to be prophecy. So when you go back to Ezekiel 37, right? Verse 7, so I prophesied as was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise. Behold, a shaking, the bones came together, bones to his bones. And when I beheld, lo, the sinew, that was the tendon, the tendon that hold the bones together, which was the word, and the flesh came upon them. So the flesh was come upon them, right? They started to put themselves, they started to get themselves together on them, and the skin covered and but there was no breath in them, so there was no breath on them, right? So this is going into waking up, but they still didn't have to understand it, So Deuteronomy 28, that was the breath to give them what happened to them. We start giving them the laws, the statutes, and the heritage match, how they should live as an Israelite, right? And customs, right? So that was, you know what I'm saying? In verse 9, and he said unto them, prophesy. So we start to prophesy. So the first scripture we bring out when we see an Israelite, we give Deuteronomy 28, 58, verse 58, 6, and 28, verse 15, and 68, right? We give them the whole Deuteronomy, right? So that's what we prophesied to them. Then he said, he unto them prophesies unto the wind Prophesied. So when we prophesied to him, we got highways and byways. We prophesied, man. We prophesied to our people. My word, the Lord said, my word will not go out void, because eventually it will land on some ears and some people will stop and listen. And once they stop to listen, they start to get breath. They stop to live. Some will, hear for bear. Some will hear it. Some will forbear it to remove it. Some will stay right there. They go research, watch a video, get a Bible, study it, and come into the fold. That's how they. That's them getting the breath. And said, he was unto them, prophesied unto the wind, prophesied, son of man, say to the wind, thus said the Lord Yahweh, come from four winds, and breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and they stood upon their feet, exceedingly great army. Now that's why you got all these camps. That's the exceedingly great army. It's not talking about IUIC. I used to believe in that when I was part of them at one point. But now they're talking about all the camps. Now you can't turn on you can't go on YouTube online and not see one camp out here prophesying. That's prophecy that we can stand on our feet and live in a exceedingly great army. That's prophecy. But a joker said we ain't supposed to prophesy. That just shows you an idiot don't know the scripture. He's like, I went to a Christian school. Yeah, I know the Bible. No, you don't, nigga. Slow belly nigga. You don't know the scriptures. An exceeding great army. And he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they said, our bones are dry and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore it prophesies and say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my people will open your grave and cause you to come out of your grave and bring you into the land of Israel. So he said that's the 1/3, that's the elect. He's going to cause the grave to open, which is this dead state, which is America. Now one grave is one big grave. He's going to cause you to come out of that grave and give you the land, deliver you from the destruction. Because when the Lord hits this place with the nukes, that's going to be a whole big grave. He's going to come out. He's going to deliver us from this place and give us the land for Israel. And we're going to live forever. That's a Bible prophecy. Right? Well, this is what the kingdom of heaven might look like. See? Look at that golden pretty city. He said he's going to give us this land. We're going to go back to glory. I can't wait to see that. That's Bible prophecy. But idiots said we ain't supposed to prophesy. Okay. That just shows how much he knows. Let's go to Second Ezra chapter 1, verse 39. The book of Second Ezra chapter 1, verse 39. Start at 38. And now, brother, behold, what glory, and see the people that cometh from the east, unto whom I will give for the leaders Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Mosiah, Amos, Micah, Joel, Adias, and Jonas, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Gaius, Zachary, and Malachi, which is called also angels of the Lord. So the Lord said he's going to give them, he said he's going to give them back to us on the last days for leaders. Right? So he's going to give us back those for leaders. Right? Right? He said he's going to give those back again for leaders on the last days. So those prophets are back, prophesying again like they did before time, in ancient times, right? Revelation chapter 10, verse 11. This is the last script. In the book of Revelation, chapter 10, verse 11. Now let's start at 10 verse 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand, ate it up. That means he studied it, right? So I took the book out of, angel's hand, and he ate it up. That means he studied it, right? He ate the whole roll. I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. It was in my mouth sweet as honey. He said, it was sweet, knowing that you're an Israelite, knowing that the kingdom of heaven is for you, the Lord only coming for you, right? It was in my mouth sweet as honey. As soon as I eaten it, my belly was bitter. Because why? The bitterness comes with all the trouble, things you're going to have to go to. You start to realize a lot of people ain't going to be saved. A lot of your family members, things in the world that you might thought you can still keep while you're in this truth. You got to get rid of it. Sometimes you might lose your wife, your kids might not agree, your friends might not come in. So that's the bitter part. You start to see things for what it is. That veil that you had on you is open now. You ate the red pill. So now you start to see people for what they are. Friends that you thought was your friend, you start to realize you demons, man. That's the bitter part. It's a long walk. You got to realize you're alone at this. You got the brothers, but on your personal, you got to fight your own personal battles, man. You got to walk through that straight gate alone. And it gets lonely and it's bitter. That's the bitter part of it. Because he said, my belly, when I ate it, it's bitter. Like, oh, man. You're going to see massive death. You're going to make sure you're going to make it or not. That's the bitter part. You're going to see babies, women, friends dead. Jacob's trouble. That's the real life. You see things and it's like, man, you can't go back into the world. There's nothing there for. Now you see it's like you can. That's the bitter part of it, right? Verse 11. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many people, nations, tongues, and kings. So he told John Revelator, you're going to prophesy again, man. You're going to come back in the latter days and do it again for nations and kings. The kings going into Vladimir Putin's, Biden's, and Trump's, the Rothschilds, all these elites. They're gonna see some come at us. Great wrath. Against nations. Now you're gonna do it all over again in the last days. I'm gonna send you back. So Lydia says there's no being supposed to prophesy. But I just proved to you you're supposed to. That's how you're gonna warn people that the coming destruction is gonna be. So to that, like in this lesson, I want to give praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah Ba'Shem Kakadash, and double honors to the apostle of the great Muslim, and peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.